I'm Chad Michael Busto. You know who I am. I need to see you at some point while I'm here in New York City. Okay? Good evening, everybody at Walmart. If I could have your attention, please. My name is Chad Michael Busto.
Chad Michael Busto has a history of harassing women dating back over a decade, stalking, harassing teenage girls, exposing himself to strangers.
Drew Barrymore was confronted by one of the scariest celebrity stalkers out there. This man, Chad Michael Busto, is known well by police. He has over a decade of crimes and a list of celebrities he's obsessed with. Recently, it seems like he's turned his attention from Amber Heard to Drew Barrymore, and now he's attending her events to try to get to her. Drew Barrymore should be scared because this man is dangerous. So let's get into it. We've talked about celebrity stalkers before on this channel, and it's horrific to think that there are people out there who feel entitled to be in these celebrities' personal spaces and to believe that they have a parasocial relationship with them. And today, I think we should dive deep into Drew Barrymore's story with her stalker because it's pretty scary. And what's really scary about stalking in general is that you can't really stop it. I mean, even recently, she was giving a panel speech conversation, and this stalker presented himself and tried to get on stage. So Drew was in New York and she was having a conversation with an artist named Renee Rapp. Their conversation was suddenly interrupted when a member of the audience shouted, "Drew Barrymore." But unfortunately, this wasn't just a member of the audience because Drew knows this man very well.
Tell people, oh my God, yes, hi.
We all know Drew as a nice woman. I mean, she's very friendly. So at first, she was kind about the interruption. But then very quickly, you can see that she realized that there was something very wrong here and that individual was rushing to the stage. He initially identified himself as Chad Michael Busto, saying, "You know who I am. I need to see you at some point while you're in New York." Security members quickly blocked him while Renee and Drew ran from the stage trying to shield from the commotion.
I'm Chad Michael Busto. You know who I am. I need to see you at some point while I'm here in New York City. Okay?
Here, take this. Well, that was
A really dramatic scene, and imagine if that person somehow had like a weapon. I mean, you really don't know in the world we're living in. Stunned into silence, the audience was left confused for a few moments before a member of the staff took to the stage and apologized, saying, "Hi everyone, we will be back in a few moments."
Hi everyone, sorry about that. Just give us 1 minute. Thank you.
You guys know Drew has gone through a lot of crap in her life. If you've not seen my video about her tragic history, definitely go and check it out so she can handle a stalker. So Drew and Renee resumed their conversation shortly after, and they were actually able to recap the bizarre experience. And it's really cute that they were able to joke about this situation, even though it's pretty horrific, and I feel like you would be partially traumatized after this.
By the way, just to be clear, the second they were like, okay, we're good. They're like, hey, like, do you need anything? Do you need us to say? She was like, oh, no, I got it. I'm good. Well, I have a new definition of your sexiness. It's that level of protectiveness that went full bodyguard. That you are my Kevin Costner.
I'll be that.
So luckily their show was able to move on, but this left the internet wondering who could have been this man and have we heard this name before? So we've actually heard this name Chad Michael Busto before, and some people believe that this Drew Barrymore stalker might be the same as Amber Heard. So let's talk a little bit about this. I guess at some point this man went into Walmart and proposed to Amber Heard. Quote, "Good morning, everyone at Walmart. May I have your attention, please? It's my personal belief that we are probably in an apocalypse, the end times," the man shouted. "My name is Chad Michael Busto, and we are recording this. So Amber Heard, she's a famous actress. I have proposed to her for marriage." Announcing this, I believe, in a Walmart. Like, what? The things that go on at Walmart. This person shared on Twitter, this is Chad Michael Busto. He has several Twitter accounts, and there are some of them listed. I know him as Amber Heard Stalker, but apparently he's moved on to Drew Barrymore, which is an interesting switch, but this guy has already made a reputation for himself, so Drew needs to watch out. I do not understand people who can go into a public space and start shouting. Like, I am not destined to be a prankster YouTuber. That's just not who I am. I cannot go out there and just start screaming to the world. Yet he felt the need to go and propose to Amber Heard in a Walmart on camera because the world's ending. It's almost too bizarre to even believe, so you have to see it.
Good evening, everybody at Walmart. If I could have your attention, please. It's my personal belief that we are probably in the apocalypse, the end times. My name is Chad Michael Busto. Yep, and we are recording this. So, Amber Heard, she's a famous actress. I'm already doing it. I have proposed to her.
Please leave.
I have proposed to her for a marriage.
Sir, you cannot record and you need
I'm
to get
still
out.
waiting for a reply. I would like everybody's best wishes and luck in my endeavors. We have the possibility
to stop recording and leave.
to save ourselves in our lifetime. We are human beings suffering a terrible reality, annoying people who don't know what's good for them, try and stop people from doing good things.
Sir, it's against our policy. I need you to
It is
get out of
against the
store.
law to be at Walmart.
That poor girl pleading for that man to just leave. She's working at Walmart. She's definitely not getting paid enough to go and handle this guy. So please just give the world a break. And actually looking into Chad Michael Busto, there's a lot of media coverage on him. Celebrity stalker Chad Michael Busto has been charged with disorderly conduct, indecent exposure, and more in the past. Looks like he really started with Amber Heard, having one of these accounts on Twitter named We Are Heard in support of Amber Heard.
Hey Amber, I'm sorry that I can't be there with you right now in Italy. You know I love you. I'm cheering for you and rooting for you. I think you're going to be great. And I will talk to you later.
Because the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case was everywhere, there are a lot of people obsessed with these celebrities, which has led to forums online where they talk about them, and there's one about Amber Heard that Chad Michael Busto decided to join. One user from the forum mentioned that Busto joined the forum on March 24th, adding that a lot of people thought he was odd but gave him a fair chance. Very quickly, they started to put together some of his messages and realized that he was a bit obsessive. When they actually looked him up on Google, they learned about the stalker's history. So quickly, the Amber Heard community wanted to separate themselves from him because he was stalking her to get to her to fall in love with him, opposed to supporting her in her message.
Amber Heard, this message is for you, and I want to be careful about this, but if you are the Twitter account Coramel, claiming that real men are finally standing up for you, is slightly jarring and disappointing, because I have to question if Luca happened to be around at the end of your trial when me, Chad Michael Busto, and Donald Trump and Glenn Youngkin were standing up for you when you were actually going through that trial at the time that it was happening. Because I don't remember Luca being around for that. So he can come in and support you, but real men, including the men that have been your fans the entire time here in the United States, because the United States, I guarantee you, has the most Amber Heard fans of any country on this planet still. So we've been around supporting you through this entire duration of this problematic event that you've been having. So real men have been standing up for you the entire time. Once again, Chad Michael Busto and Donald Trump and Glenn Youngkin were there. I'm pretty sure Luca was in Italy doing something else.
Now, I'm not a mental health expert, but looking at his situation, the one thing I can say is that he's experiencing some paranoia. Maybe that's why he's yelling at these public places, why he's going on these tangents, like he's convincing himself of something that is ultimately delusional. One of these users decided to share some of his history in the forum about Chad Michael Busto. And back in 2012, it turns out that he was a homeless man trying to entice two young girls at a bus stop. It further elaborated that the two students were aged 12 and 15, and they were approached by this homeless man who was Chad Michael Busto. He asked the girls questions about the Bible, then moved on to talk to them about sexual things. The two girls then took off and reached out to the school security. Chad was arrested, then later charged with enticement of children for indecent purposes. I think that's pretty similar to what Drake Bell was charged with. But yeah, what a creep. And this is 2012, so this man has been sick for over a decade. And you can tell through his mugshots, it's been a long time, actually. So nowadays, he's like, I think he's a little bit balder, but he's been locked up. I mean, look at these mugshots. That's a collection right there. Around the same time, witnesses saw a man breaking into an old Greyhound bus station. Of course, Chad Michael Busto was identified as one of the two suspects in that case, and after a brief scuffle with police, he was arrested for resisting and 7 outstanding warrants. He has also had several arrests for disorderly conduct and trespassing in Georgia, Texas, Minnesota, Florida, and Wisconsin. When someone has so many repeat offenses like this, I don't understand how long it takes for authorities to realize that this man needs psychiatric help.
Okay, but can we just talk about how Drew Barrymore's Stalker has a long history of being a terrible person? This is an example of a failed justice system that does not protect women.
It is disturbing how the justice system does not protect women in these situations. It reminds me of, I believe, Kylie Jenner or Kendall Jenner had a stalker come to their house. I believe it was Kylie, and that stalker was arrested, then let go that same day, and then came right back to her house. There's also another story about Mr. Chad Michael Busto from April 2017. The police were contacted after this man, identified as Michael Chad Busto, entered this bank and started acting strange. It actually turns out that he left a note as well. It's not entirely clear what he was arrested for, if they just shooed him away, but it seemed like he was trying to threaten this bank in some capacity, which is now why people are worried for Drew because of Chad's history. I mean, she's out and about, she puts herself out there. It'd be a shame if this guy started following her and then she had to start staying at home because she's got this man who's out on the loose, has over a decade of criminal history, and now he's got some weird obsession with her.
Chad Michael Busto has a history of harassing women and getting arrested for it dating back over a decade. He's been arrested for stalking, harassing teenage girls, enticing random women, exposing himself to strangers, along with cyber stalking on multiple forums as well. He's been banned from dozens of discords and forums for harassing the women on those sites by sending them disturbing private messages. I made the mistake of seeking out and reading some of those messages, and they are extremely disturbing. And he's transient. He commits crimes all over the country: Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Wisconsin, New York City, Texas, California. This man has a documented reign of terror all over America.
Another thing I can't understand, on top of people yelling in public, are those who could just like show their private parts. Like, who could just go and whip out their wiener or whatever it is and just show it off? I mean, that could not be me. In August 2017, the same year as the bank situation, he was arrested for indecently flashing individuals on a beach. And it turns out that he was acting like he was on drugs, which I wouldn't be surprised. He was later arrested and yelled expletives at an onlooker while he was being taken away. He was charged with disorderly conduct, indecent exposure, and resistance to arrest. Seems like every time he resists to be arrested.
In 2017 in Myrtle Beach, he was arrested for indecent exposure after exposing himself to people while on the beach and acting erratic as if he was on drugs. In 2012, he approached 2 teenage girls at a bus stop in Georgia and was later arrested for enticing a child for indecent purposes. The details of his stalking of Drew Barrymore are hazy at the moment, as not much information has come out relating to that. What we do know is he has been stalking her for a little while now. He's been caught hanging around her house. He's followed her around the country to various speaking events. There's potentially something very seriously wrong, and he needs to get help before he ends up hurting someone in a horrifying manner.
I'm glad people are taking this seriously, because if I was Drew, I would have my security team learn exactly what this guy looks like. One person tweeted, "Oh no, I hope they're okay. This is absolutely scary." And the fact that he had a medium-sized bag makes it scarier. Another person writes, "OMG, just Google this man's name. He's a whole mess." Another tweet, "So scary. Thankfully she's surrounded by people and he didn't have a weapon. Or if he did, he didn't use it. But just imagine the times when she's alone. Didn't Ariana have a man break into her house and he had a kit with him? They often get arrested, but they are out in months, sometimes days actually. It's absolutely devastating." And that's really true. I mean, when these people are locked up, it's not even months, it's actually days, and they're right back. And there are people like the Ariana Grande stalker, I believe we talked about this on my channel, who will go to the home, and thankfully she wasn't there, but he had a kit to harm her. There's also Miranda Cosgrove stalker who ultimately killed himself on her front yard. Really scary. Another person tweets, "There needs to be way better laws that deal with stalking." And they're completely right. There needs to be further protections and some more consequences for these people who violate these celebrities' personal spaces. I'm really sending Drew some love and protection. Please send her some, because this man clearly has a history and I don't believe he's going to be stopping anytime soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.